So you mentioned The Boys. I'm a huge fan of this series. You introduced me to it a few years ago when you were like, hey man, you got to check out this series. You got to, it was in graphic novel form at that point. Bought a few. I bought the first, they put the first, I think 10 issues into a major, like one book. And so it kind of dove into it that way, which is pretty cool. But then Amazon, of course, came out with the series and everyone was like, what the hell is this thing? Season 1, we didn't do any recap on season 1, but I think it's really rad with the end of season 2 just happening. Getting your take on it, us talking about it, because a lot of people are talking about it, man. And it's a killer show.
The thing about The Boys is it's very relatable. A perfect opposing story is Star Wars. Like, whoa, anything could happen out in space, and that's great. Not overly relatable to some viewers. I know that The Boys has brought in a lot of new viewers just because of the reality of the situation. If you think about like what it like, well, there's like Trump aspects in there. There is Scientology aspects in there. There's huge racism aspects in there with the Nazis, right? And the girl power element in there is just, I don't know if I've seen female heroes done as gritty and as cool as I have seen in The Boys. Like, don't get me wrong, I really like Wonder Woman, and the Black Widow, is a really great, strong female character. They all follow a certain line though, right? Where the female, well, all the characters, but especially the female characters, because you don't expect it as much in today's society. The female characters really jump into the what the fuck area, right? And that's the moments of that are huge. And to have so many female characters bring out the what the fuck moments, I thought was really, really awesome. The ending scene, just for one example, the ending scene where they were the three female heroes were just beating the living crap out of a Nazi from the Nazi days who was around Hitler. These supers can last forever, right? Because they have a serum, like kind of like Wolverine if you're into comic books.
Yeah.
So the three female heroes just beat the crap out of
Storm.
Yeah, so it was Stormfront, right?
Stormfront, yeah.
And just beat the crap out of her. And you're sitting there going, yeah, kick the crap out of that Nazi. Like I was anyway. I was just like, go beat the crap out of her. And even another thing, like this, we could just keep talking about what's good about The Boys, is the reality of it. So spinning off of the girl power thing, the song that they put behind there, did you recognize the song?
I think so. I'd have to watch it again. I mean, I just watched it, but off the top of my head, no.
Do you remember the artist Peaches?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was one of her like girl anthems, and it was so punk rock. It was just like, it was perfect. So again, another thing that works with The Boys is there's not a ton of music in there. But when it's in there, it's perfect. They played God Only Knows by the Beach Boys at the very end.
I saw that, yeah.
And everybody's separating, right? And it was really well put. And then in an
the Billy Joel stuff is great. The addiction to Billy Joel.
It's right. And we're 80s kids, some of us, right? Like a lot of the comic book fans nowadays are 80s kids, and that rings really true. But the other cool thing, I don't know if you remember where she just Starlight. Okay, so we're talking about Huey.
Yeah.
One of the wimpier characters in the story, and Starlight, one of the soups, one of the heroes. And they end up hooking up. And one of my favorite scenes, and it's hard to do romance in superhero stories. Ask George Lucas. He doesn't know how to shoot a romance.
What are you talking about? You didn't like the scene with Anakin and Padme rolling around in the field?
Yeah, that was pretty bad, right? That's a perfect example, right? So the linkage between the two of them I thought was brilliant. And the thing that I can relate to, and probably you can too, is when she started singing that Billy Joel song, and he was just like, wow. And I've seen that in another movie called Adventureland, where a girl puts in a song and it's in a car, and the guy's just kind of like, whoa, really? You like this song too? And I find that myself, like when Lonnie really got into Matthew Sweet. People listen to Matthew Sweet, so you have that kind of Weezer's Pinkerton album. When nobody liked that was when when Pinkerton first came out, and nobody liked it, but my wife did, right? And I did. So that's a cool bonding thing there. So I thought that was really awesome, the way they put the romance between the two of them. But again,
I loved the arcs that they built on this thing, and even like Maeve, and then getting jealous, and then just her and Homelander being a kind of a thing, but not really, like, and then him just being possessive, and then she's basically like, fuck this, but then at the end, like, I mean, spoiler alert, friends, but then at the end, they're all standing on the podium together and they're all like, hey, we're a team. And it was just how they built it out and how the arcs of them all is just, it was some really killer writing. And to me, it's been desperately missing in so many things. I mean, you're a Walking Dead fan. Do you find, I find that the difference between these two is that obviously Amazon, you have a little bit more rope to throw in some swear words and nudity and silliness and whatever.
Whereas the fuck moments, man.
Yeah, and on AMC,
than The Walking Dead,
and on AMC, you still have kids tuning in on a Sunday through the TV, right? So they call it cable, but it's still, you still have to build your story and have it hit and go out, and no one's swearing when they're running away from zombies. So it was just tough for me to be like, come on, why is The Walking Dead to me should have been on Netflix or Amazon, and
nobody wanted it at the time.
I know, but like, I mean, it's just, it should have been there because just think about what they could have done. So anyways, coming back to The Boys, it's that one level up of like, oh, they're doing exactly what I want them to do.
Right.
It's a reality, but not really. They're superheroes, but not really. Like, they're superheroes because they were made to be superheroes, but they're not. No one's from some weird planet. It's kind of like they were all built to this way. They were all, and so then you have that human element of people hating them, where you're not supposed to hate them. You don't see anybody hating the Avengers other than the bad guys.
Right.
But in this
the government, right?
And the government, but it's like in this, it's like they've been created. So just but to have the arcs of the love stories, but also like the individual stories in that, I just think this show is built for this. It's built for that HBO, Amazon, Netflix model where they can basically take it anywhere they want to. And that's what you want. To me, that's what I watch. I have a really hard time watching regular TV now, because I just don't believe someone's not going to swear when they're running away from a zombie. Like,
right. I'm Chris Machete, and I create comic books.
Hey, I'm Brenton On Tour, and I drink coffee and talk about it in the other thing that I do.
And together we are
the Kids on the Escalator Podcast.
Exclusively on the network where all the cool shit happens.
Exactly. Tuesday nights you can catch us
on the Dean Blundell Network, where you will find good times,
rad dudes.